A peaceful afternoon, Ijeoma was watching TV. Suddenly a knock came at the door. Her mother-in-law arrives, but not with love. "Good afternoon, Mama." Beatrice walks in, ignoring Ijeoma completely. Beatrice scans the silent house, shaking her head in disappointment. "This house is too quiet, like a graveyard." "I don't understand, Mama." "You know exactly what I mean. No children, no noise. My son married his fellow man." "Mama, I want to give my husband children, but God's time is best." "Which God?" "For 10 years I have waited. But you? You have eaten your children with witchcraft. Enough is enough. My son needs a real woman." Ijeoma was once the most desired, but now, a woman scorned. Her husband Patrick had met her by the roadside and fallen in love with her. "From the moment I saw you, I knew you were the one." Patrick and Ijeoma had got married after months of courtship. Ijeoma was a teacher, loved by both students and teachers. Ijeoma prayed to God, telling him to remember her. "Oh Lord, remember me, just as you remembered Sarah and Hannah." The couples had visited so many hospitals, but there was no solution. She keeps hoping that one day the sun will shine on her. For 10 long years, Ijeoma's home remained silent. No sound of children, only the echoes of sorrow. Beatrice and her daughter Adana mocked Ijeoma. "How long will you keep my son waiting? A decade without a child. You have overstayed your welcome. Maybe it's time you accept the truth. My brother deserves a real wife, not a barren one." One day, Ijeoma was teaching in the classroom. One of her students was making noise and disturbing the class. Ijeoma called him out and punished him for misbehaving. Discipline was her way of preparing them for the future. But not everyone understood. The next day, the boy's mother storms into the schoolyard. "Where is that witch of a teacher? How dare she lay hands on my son?" The woman lunges at Ijeoma, pulling at her clothes while other teachers rush to separate them. "You don't have a child of your own, so you take out your bitterness on mine." Ijeoma was embittered. The words pierced deeper than any insult. They were her greatest fear spoken out loud. The principal invited Ijeoma to his office and consoles her. "Do not let their words break you, Ijeoma. God's time is always the best." Ijeoma was relieved. She walked home in deep thought. A sudden knock interrupts the moment. Ijeoma wipes her tears and looks towards the door, startled. Just when she thought she had a moment of peace, fate had other plans. Patrick walks into the living room concerned. He knew something was wrong the moment he saw Ijeoma's face. Her sorrow was like an open book. "My love, what's wrong? Talk to me. They called me barren. Again. A mother at school humiliated me." Patrick held her close, whispering words of reassurance. "A child will come when the time is right. Don't let them break you." Ijeoma turned to the only one who could change her story, God. She fasted and prayed with all her heart. 3 weeks later, a miracle happened. Ijeoma became pregnant. Her joy knew no bounds. Patrick too couldn't control his joy. But just when happiness seemed certain, tragedy struck. She miscarried. Her twins. The doctor broke the news to her. The pain was unbearable. She had lost them. Beatrice, her mother-in-law, came to visit her. She felt sorry for her. A few months later, she conceived again. But this time, she told no one. "Make her miscarry again. Something is protecting this one." Ijeoma prayed relentlessly, asking God to protect her child. For the first time in his life, Akpi was confused. His plan to make Ijeoma barren was failing. "Something is protecting this child. My powers are useless." Akpi was never like his brother. While Patrick studied, Akpi wasted his youth. Patrick, on the other hand, was determined to build a future. Years later, Patrick became successful. And Akpi? He wanted it all. Patrick gave his brother a chance. He gave him money to start a business to change his life. But instead of building a future, Akpi squandered it all. Akpi went back to his brother demanding for more money. "You wasted everything. Don't ask me for another dime." Akpi left, but his heart burned with hatred. If he couldn't have wealth, his brother wouldn't either. Ijeoma must never give birth. Make sure of it. It is done. Her womb is locked forever. But 10 years later, Ijeoma was pregnant again. Akpi had only one option left. Enough games. End my brother's life. Okaka blew the white powder into the air. It is done. Patrick had no idea that death was already watching. Ijeoma was very worried. She tells Patrick not to leave for work. "Patrick, please don't go today. I had a terrible dream last night." "It was just a dream, my love. Nothing will happen." With one last smile, Patrick drove away, unaware of the fate awaiting him. Then, disaster struck. A reckless driver lost control and collided with Patrick's car. Patrick fought for his life, but death won. When Ijeoma heard the news, she went into labor prematurely. She cried at the hospital, staring at her newborn baby in an incubator. She named him Chigaziram. "God has blessed me," but peace was far from her grasp. Weeks later, 2 palace guards arriving at Ijeoma's house, telling her that her presence was needed at the palace. There at the palace, Okaka accused her of killing her husband. They forced her to take an oath. If the calabash content was still water, then she is innocent. But if it turns to blood after swearing, then she is guilty. She took the oath. And then, the unthinkable happened. The calabash filled with blood, villagers gasping in shock. Echoes of abomination filled the air. Ijeoma was banished. With nothing but her son in her arms, Ijeoma walked into the unknown. Alone, the villagers mocked and jeered at her. Will Ijeoma prove her innocence, or will the forces against her destroy her completely? Like and subscribe for part 2.